can't suffer. You shouldn't do shit that causes suffering. If you can't handle suffering, you shouldn't do things that make you suffer. There are some people out here in this world that can handle suffering without resorting to craziness. We have a high tolerance for suffering. If you're not one of those people, you shouldn't do certain things. But yet so many people do. You know? If you're going to dig a hole, you might as well make sure you can get yourself out of it, or at least you can tolerate living in the hole. And then if you made a mistake and dug a hole that you can't really tolerate, and you have shit outside of the hole that you don't want to lose, you probably shouldn't continue to dig the hole. And if you do, well, I guess to say it's a good or a bad thing would be a value judgment, wouldn't it? The universe isn't really about good and bad, is it? It just kind of is. You know what I mean? It doesn't judge whether or not decisions are good or bad. So, if you continue to dig yourself into holes that you can't handle being in, but you have stuff on the outside that you don't want to lose, that sucks for you. That's my human value judgment. And RIP. Because unless you actually get yourself out of the hole, I mean, you've now dug it deeper. So you're just ensuring you don't ever escape. It's weird how many people are so content with continuing to dig holes. They start digging a hole and they get into it. They realize it's not the hole for them, they get out of it. And then they're like, you know what? It's pretty stressful out here outside of the hole. So I think I'll go back in the hole and dig farther. But the whole reason it was stressful outside of the hole is because they had kind of started to get used to inside of the hole. They started to see inside of the hole. And when they came back out, there was that time period of, did I make the right choice by getting out of the hole? Because people are silly. Because while they were climbing out, they're like, why did I dig this hole? I want to get out of this fucking thing. This thing's stupid. I'll never come back to this hole. And then they get out of the hole and they're like, was this the right decision though? And then they go back into the hole and keep digging. And they're like, yeah, while they're in the hole the second time, they're like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. But eventually they're going to turn around and look up and see that they have dug themselves too far to get out. And you know what? That is what it is. That is what it is. Know yourself enough to decide whether or not you can get into holes and dig holes, and whether or not you can get out of holes. Know yourself enough to know whether or not you're going to even be able to, tolerate the stuff that goes on inside of a hole. Before you do it. But isn't that too much to ask? I don't know. Forgive them, for they know not what they've done, I guess. They can't all be woke. That's why you have to have people like me. Your loving prophet of peace, Steve Jones. You can hear a wailing dog in the distance. The sweet sounds of the city. Maybe he's barking at someone in the hole. I'm a hole digger, but I'm one of those people that can tolerate the hole. And, I think in my time, people have seen the hole that I've dug, and they've been like, hey, he does so good in the hole. Maybe I can do so good in the hole. And that's a mistake to make. Don't think that unless you really know it. Don't think that just because I can do it, you can do it. Although anything I can do, you can do if you really, really put your mind to it. But not everybody has the faculty to put their mind to, tolerating and surviving the holes that they dig. So don't just assume. Make sure you really know yourself. I'm climbing out of the hole to stop, inspiring people, I guess. I don't know if I've actually have. I'm not claiming I have. But I'm climbing out of the hole nonetheless because, lead by example, be the change you want to see, bada bing, bada boom, all that kind of stuff. That's the sound of your mind popping open. Dog wailing, car speeding off. Maybe someone's digging holes over there. They got a very holy lifestyle. Well, anyway, this has been your boy Steve Jones, excavator, prophet of peace, and general woke ass dude. Just talking about holes, digging holes, choices that we make. Have a good night.